All right. Okay. So let's. So this time we're not going to start off with a story. We're going to start off with a setting. So we're going to go to Belmont County, Ohio. We're going to go to the town of Belaire. It's a really small town, but it actually got pretty famous in the 90s when the Bellaire toll bridge was filmed for Jonathan Demme's Silence of the Lambs. And this would kind of be a regular feature. Other landmarks like the B&O Railroad Viaduct would go on to find themselves in 2010's Unstoppable. However, this is a paranormal podcast, and to most fans of the paranormal, Bellaire wouldn't really be known for its glassware or its appearances in Hollywood. It would be known for a house. So, at 1699 Belmont Street sits the Belaire House. It's a 2,500 square foot, 3-storied single-family home. And at the time of this podcast, it is haunted as shit, bro. Holy shit.
It's so haunted that my dog jumped up into my lap.
It's pretty haunted, bro.
All right, yeah.
That whole friggin' time, he was just snooping around the camera and knocking everything. And all right, I need my dog I need my dog to comfort me for this scary story.
Yeah, this is some Scooby-Doo ass shit, right?
Yeah, I need you to Scooby with me. So. Hey.
So once again, welcome to Clearance on Creepy, the failed paranormal podcast. With me here, I have my co-host Steve.
Hey.
And Jaden.
How's it going?
And in case if anybody is curious, Steve is currently on his way to drain the Loch Ness to capture Nessie. Thanks to the support of all of the people who backed our Kickstarter, we have been able to raise enough funds to hire Badlands Chugs to drink up the entire Loch Ness. So
yeah, I'm coming for Loch Ness.
Yeah. All the Kickstarter reward tiers will be sent out, including the Nessie's bathwater.
Yeah.
So
that's a highlight.
Yeah, let's get on to the primary subject today, which is the Belaire House. So in terms of the levels of haunted houses, it's considered one of the most haunted houses in America. And it has a very interesting history, and we're going to be taking a look at this in a little bit more detail. I do want to mention that a lot of the information here, it comes directly from the owner, Kristen Lee, she uses the house largely as a sort of paranormal research location right now. But a lot of the information actually comes from her 2021 book, Paranormal Confessions, which I bought money for. So if anybody has any problems with how I treat the subject matter here, I'm a goddamn consumer, all right? So
you mean you paid money for it?
I paid money.
You said you bought money for it.
Look, I purchased NFTs to then pay. I bought crypto to pay for this book. Okay, I bought Doge. Yeah,
you should buy a Nessie coin. You know, so you got to support Steve on his quest.
Steve just has his own crypto now.
Yeah, I'm that guy now.
Yeah, he sold his microphone quality in order to fund the.
We're just gonna be ribbing on his audio quality the whole time.
Yeah, just for an hour, headbutting a wall.
Yeah, so for a little bit of context, Steve unfortunately spent all his time just figuring out what's going on with like his audio, and we're just mercilessly ripping into him now.
Yeah.
Which I feel like I probably shouldn't do because my mic also oftentimes has like some of these like I often fuck up on audio as well.
Yeah, well, maybe it's just a sign of the ghosts don't want us to talk about, them. They don't want us. So they don't want the secret to get out. So
yeah.
Look, first of all,
usually what I'll do is I'll go to bed, I cry for a bit, and then hopefully in the morning it works again. We'll see how it's going.
Okay, first of all, you assholes might be saying this as like a joking thing, but according to what happened with the Belaire house, ghosts can follow you home.
What?
Shit.
That's right. So we're going to get a little bit more into that.
Okay.
Okay. So the Belaire house What's going on with it? What are the hauntings like? The first real haunting, or the first real documented hauntings that we have with regards to the Belair house, began in 2005 when it was purchased by Kristen Lee, who is the current owner of the Belair house. Her backstory is actually kind of sad. She lost her home in Hurricane Ivan and Hurricane Francis.
Oh shit!
And so when she bought this house, she bought the Belair house because she received a FEMA grant to relocate, right? And she was able to purchase the Belair house because it was being sold for $20,000 under the market price.
Holy crap!
That's pretty good.
Yes. So this is actually something that's really important. She purchased this house for, I believe, $40,000.
Hey, how's it going? It's Editing Joe here. I just want to make a correction that it's the other way around. She might have actually purchased it for $20,000 above the asking price because of the severity and the immediacy in which she needed the house. But it was listed for $20,000 under its original 1999 price. It's a kind of a complete mess, but my apologies on that.
The origin of the Belair house, because the thing is, I looked it up on Realtor.com, the actual value of the house and what it was being sold at. It was unsold for quite a while, and it was unsold for a really, really low amount. So it's fascinating because it's essentially, we have the beginning of like a literal horror movie haunted house scenario.
Right.
You know, this woman, she has nowhere else to go. She lost her home. She's got a family to take care of. And she's just like, wow, there's this house. It looks pretty good. In the middle of, small town Ohio, on the Ohio River. And she talks about at length in her book, Paranormal Confessions, about how in love with the house she was. Because it looks really dilapidated now because it's abandoned, right? But at the time that she bought it, in 2005, it looked really nice. Again, to continue on this sort of horror haunted house imagery, it sat on top of a hill.
Nice.
Right, some real Hammer horror stuff.
Yeah, and so it sat on top of a hill. It was sold for $20,000 under its market asking price. It was bought by a woman with kids where she had nowhere else to go because she lost her old house from a natural disaster. So it was one of those situations where she thought that, she actually got a good deal on the house. So that's the story of that's the general story of how she got the house. Now, before I proceed any further, I do want to make one very, very important mention, and that is we got to talk about methodology. A very unsexy element of methodology. So, the previous 2 episodes of Clearance on Creepy have been about cryptids. And cryptids, when we're talking about how do you understand and verify and sort of like cross-examine like cryptid sightings, that is a very different kind of thing than, say, a haunted house, because for cryptids, we don't even know if cryptids, like, quote-unquote, exist in a sort of like generic object sense. We can't go off and be all like, when are we going to see Bigfoot? Because we don't even know if Bigfoot is like a thing. So we can't even, for instance, gauge the range of Bigfoot. The only thing we can do is we can just rely on the sightings. With haunted houses and with ghosts, the relationship is a little bit different, because whether you believe a ghost exists or not, whether you believe a ghost exists or not, you can still nevertheless sort of quote-unquote point at a place or a haunted house or what have you and then say, well, if ghosts exist, they would exist there. That haunted house there, in theory, would be where paranormal activity occurs, and as a result, we can research it. You can, for instance, put cameras all around the property and then see what that feed gets. We can't do that with Bigfoot because we've never captured Bigfoot. Does that make sense?
Yet.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you technically you could do that with Bigfoot, but it would just be like, you'd have to put a camera on every inch of the contiguous United States.
Yeah, but we're going to do it now, right? We're going to do it now because, once again, thanks to the generous donations of everybody on our Kickstarter, that Loch Ness is going to get fucked up.
Yeah.
One step at a time. We're coming for every cryptid.
Yeah, we've invested in 1,200 GoPros. We're going to put it first just throw them under the lake, you know.
Look, all right. I know that a lot of people thought that the Kickstarter goal was a little high because you think about it, you're just like, oh my God, $800,000 for 12,000 GoPros and one plastic straw. We're just like, no. That plastic straw is going to a professional.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't even get those things anymore. You have to get these fucking
that's,
bamboo ones. They fall apart.
or the cardboard ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't know what we had to go through to get that plastic straw.
And so for anybody who's curious, right? There is no inside joke that's happening right now. So one of the other things I also do want to mention, and maybe this is going to get me in trouble with the paranormal community or whatnot, right? But that paranormal ghost hunters have exceedingly bad methodological problems. So here's the thing. The experience of somebody who lives at a particular house or experiences a haunting at a house oftentimes doesn't happen immediately, and it often doesn't happen with any kind of regularity. They are oftentimes irregular. They often happen with long periods of time. And regardless of whether you believe in the existence of ghosts or not, again, all of the things I'm going to be saying is going to be completely irrespective of whether you believe in ghosts or not. But one of the things that's really important when we're talking about how to measure or understand whether something exists or not is to understand the frequency or the longitudinal scale upon which something exists, right? So, in this situation, if you experience hauntings over the course of, say, a month at irregular intervals, you would be profoundly stupid, for instance, if you say, go to a haunted house over the course of a weekend and then, quote-unquote, conclusively prove that nothing happened.
Right.
Because it doesn't match up with the longitudinal scale of the events.
True, yeah. Like, the ghost could have just been away for the weekend. Could have,
as we all do sometimes.
Got stuck in traffic.
Yeah. And so this is the thing that I always have a problem with regards to ghost hunting stuff, because on a basic level, they're just like, we've demonstrated that ghosts do not exist at this location. And it's just like, well, no, you haven't, because you only stayed there for a day to a weekend. The frequency upon which these events occur oftentimes span weeks or months. Yeah. This is one of the situations where who would have thought that paranormal research is fraught with research problems?
I'm shocked.
Yeah,
we're making enemies right now. You know that, right?
Yeah, Zach Baggins is gonna come for you, man.
So let's get on to
the haunted house.
So Kirsten Lee, she moves into that house in 2005. She moves in with her kids, and for a little while, it's pretty chill. Nothing's going on. Nothing's wrong. And it's a very nice house. So she's just like, damn, I got a steal on this house. But then things kind of turn. She starts to see things. She starts to see people, shadows, shadow people, which is something that you'll see oftentimes mentioned a lot, which are they're just people, humanoid shapes that are just dark spots. They're just walking around. Yeah. I believe she mentioned she starts to feel cold spots. So it's very classic paranormal ghost haunting sort of symptoms, I guess. Symptoms of a paranormal haunting. Mm-hmm. Things start to move. She starts to hear noises. So footsteps, creaking, all that kind of stuff. Leah initially attributes this to trauma because she had literally just lost her old house. So she attributes all of these things as sort of the workings of a stressed out mind. Because at the time, she was also studying to be a forensic psychologist. So she was in graduate school. She had kids. She's a working mother. She lost her home. So she's got a lot of stuff going for her at this time, right? That it makes a lot of sense that she would be like, okay, this is not a big thing. I'm just stressed out.
Yeah.
Enter the first primary haunting, which she calls the Gray Man.
Whoa. Very creative title.
Yeah. How gray are we talking?
Well,
are we talking a light gray, a dark gray?
So,
like an alien?
Yeah. Gray, visually, gray in personality. Was he really boring?
Okay, so first of all, it's the Gray Man or D Gray Man, all right? Yeah. So they would oftentimes sleep in the on the main floor, primarily to save money on heating bills. So they would like sleep on the main floor. I believe it was in the living room or whatnot. But one day
you mean like on the couch or on a futon or something? Not literally on the floor.
Not literally on the floor.
I was like, how poor is this bitch? Like,
so when I say the main floor, I mean like on the first level floor.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Heat rises and all that.
One night she wakes up and then she sees on beside her, right on the couch, a volume of D Gray Man. Volume 3.
Oh,
the Millennium Earl starts to show Alan Walker. Is that the name of the pro tag? I don't remember.
I haven't read D Gray Man. I don't know.
Neither have I.
Okay.
I know there's D and there's Gray Man in it. That's about it.
Oh,
actually,
okay.
I don't know. It's one of those titles where I know the title, but the title gives no indication what the story is actually about in any capacity, so I have no idea what kind of manga it is.
It's like set in the Victorian era, right? It's like magic steampunk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a Gray Man in it?
Is it a ghost?
I don't know. It's got like demons called Akuma, I think.
Okay.
And they're like homunculi. They're like homunculi, I think.
Okay.
And there are people who like fight them.
Okay. And one of them traveled all the way to Ohio.
Yes.
So outside of the spooky volume of manga, was there anything else in the room at the time?
Yeah.
Yes, there was actually a Gray Man.
Was it D Gray Man or was it?
Oh God.
Just
yeah. So there was a Gray Man who was actually okay. So for real, there was a Gray Man who was sitting beside her on the couch. He gets up and then he walks into the kitchen, I believe, and then he disappears.
Okay. So when you say sitting, like he was just chilling, like he was
just chilling on the couch.
He was reading D Gray Man, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm a bit peckish," and got up to get a snack, and then
as we all do,
yeah. Okay. So
I think that would be scarier. Actually, that would be scarier to me if there was like a haunting or a paranormal thing, rather than like a ghost doing typical ghost things or being like, "Ooh," like that kind of stuff. If there was just someone just in my house, just doing normal stuff, that would be scarier.
Yeah, because you wouldn't know if it was a ghost.
Exactly.
You'd be like, somebody breaking my house.
Get the fuck out of my house.
Yeah.
Ghost, crack addict, who knows?
Yeah.
It's like it's just like, oh my
freeloader.
It's like, oh my god, there's a ghost in my house and he looks exactly like Zed from Men in Black.
Yeah, Rip Torn, man.
It's just Rip Torn, drunk out of his mind, breaking into another house again.
I mean, I'd be scared of a man.
Is this the bank?
I'd be scared of a man whose first and last name is synonyms.
The figure essentially comes through and then disappears, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she says, well, there was something clearly there because it left an indent. So it left an ass print in the couch.
Was the ass print gray?
Ass print?
I don't know. How do you... I don't know. All right, she didn't say.
Yeah, so why did she call him the Gray Man?
Because he was like gray.
Okay, but how?
Yeah. Because he was like... transparent but gray,
Okay, because gray leaves, Gray Man can be interpreted multiple ways. It could just mean he's monochromatic, or it could mean he's just like solid gray.
No, he's like a dude who's like monochromatic, because she described his facial hair. She also noticed that he had like a hat on.
He had a hat.
Yeah,
okay, now we're getting closer to
any type of hat.
Yeah, it was a New York Yankees baseball cap.
Oh, okay.
No, it wasn't. It was I think it was like a top hat or something.
Okay, that's fucking lame.
Top of the morning.
Yeah.
All
right.
So that's like the first sighting she has, right?
Yeah.
The next sighting gets a little weirder.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit later, she's sleeping and then wakes up again. She wakes up again, and in the middle of the night, and then she sees what she describes as a black cloud full of static electricity. And so that thing starts kind of hovering around her, and her dog.
What kind of dog was it?
I don't know. I don't care about the nature of the dog. The dog's not a ghost.
I've decided this is gonna be my role in this podcast. I'm just gonna ask pointless, specific details that are not important to the story.
It was like, she called her husband. It's like, what phone was she using?
Yeah, what phone was she using?
I have no idea.
What time zone was the husband in?
Yeah, what time zone was he in? It's just like, it's the same time zone she was in.
What size underpants did he wear?
Oh, yeah, that's true. It's like he was going commando.
Large.
Yeah,
trust me, it was large.
The static electricity cloud sort of hovers around, and her dog freaks out and starts barking at it. And according to her, it throws her dog across the room.
How?
I don't know.
Powerful ass cloud.
Like did it like sprout like little cloud arms and throw it, or was it through telekinesis? Or
I assume telekinesis or psychically or some shit.
Okay.
So what do the paranormal experts make of clouds of static? How do they even know it's static?
So black clouds with static electricity is a pretty often occurrence when it comes to paranormal sightings, and so assuming when people are not bullshitting, it's often explained as ball lightning.
That's funny because you said the word ball.
Imagine if there were two of them.
Yeah, that'd be insane. Okay,
God
so the dog,
damn it.
The dog gets thrown across the room. Now I think about it, I guess like if it was what kind of dog was it?
I don't know. I assume it's one of those like small. I assume it's one of those like small snippy dogs.
Okay, like my dog.
She is a white woman, so I imagine.
True.
Yeah.
Well, let's say if it's like
I do want to mention, right? I do want to mention this, and I know that a lot of people are probably going to think that this is going to be like a really weird detail to note. Kristen Lee is a white woman.
That's the
this is going to shape
so far.
This is going to shape some of the things later on because
name a more iconic duo than white women in paranormal activity.
Now here's the thing, right? I do not want to diminish or marginalize her experiences because even though I myself like do not believe in like I haven't seen any compelling evidence for like ghosts or anything like that. Or like any of the cryptids that people talk about. I don't see any compelling evidence for those. The thing is, at the end of the day, I'm still willing to believe that like these people saw something or they experienced something. I'm willing to believe that they're not lying.
Right. You know? They're not lying. I'm willing to believe they're not lying about their experience. Just whatever that experience happened to be is the... Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, even if it does have a reasonable explanation, some of these experiences, assuming they're not lying, right? Some of these experiences are freaky as hell. Like, seeing ball lightning, if that was the rational answer, seeing ball lightning in the middle of your room when you wake up is frightening. Because that's just like, you have an electricity problem. Yeah,
that's like some video game shit.
Yeah. It's like, bro, you got bad wiring in that house. You got to get out of there before you burn alive. You know?
Yeah.
The sightings start to get a lot more violent, and they also start to get a lot more involved. So the frequency increases as well as the sort of what ends up happening sort of increases. So she mentions that, you start to feel things like getting pushed down the stairs by something.
Jesus.
She mentioned how one of her kids and his friends, they were told to climb on top of the roof and jump off to fly. And then when she asked them who had that idea, they said a girl in a white dress. It starts to ramp up. So she's like, okay, well, I can't have this. I'm not living in this house. This house is wild. I'm not living in here. But you can't just like dip and expect not to pay bills on, a property that you sign off for.
Yeah, the bank will be coming
for
you.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you believe in ghosts or not. The bank bank will come for you. Yeah.
The bank ain't no ghost.
Yeah. She starts to rent out the house. there's something that Lee does that I do appreciate, which is that she is very upfront to all of her tenants. She said, like, okay, I think there is something weird with the house. I'm not entirely sure, but I do think the house may or may not be haunted, as she's sloshing another, like, goblet of wine in her hand, right? But she's like, I think the house may or may not be haunted. I think there's something that may be up with the house. So she essentially tells all of her tenants, like, okay, you can stay for as long or as little as you want. I'm not going to hold it against you because, you know, living in a haunted house, not fun.
It depends.
So, well, look, Jed, you live in a fucking haunted house, all right, for whatever length.
All right, I've got a question. I've got a serious question here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why didn't she call the Ghostbusters?
That's a good point.
They don't exist.
Wait, yeah.
What?
Sorry,
Wait,
what year was it?
This was in 2005 when she moves in, and 2000 and I think she starts renting it out some like a few years after that.
Yeah, but yeah,
Well, they got to be at the
Ghostbusters are coming out
Ohio
then.
Comic Convention.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, you mean they don't exist because they're fictional? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're fictional. Yeah.
I thought you
Wait,
meant
and
the movie hadn't come out yet. That's why.
Yeah. No, this happened in the mid 2000s. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So nobody stays at that house for very long, and in
Right.
2009, she starts to turn it into essentially a paranormal research site. So essentially, people can sort of like rent the house for like however long they need it, and then they can do like paranormal research there.
Yeah.
So this is where we get into, I think, the second part, or at least I guess the next element of the podcast that I really want to mention, or at least this episode, which is Kristen Lee and her, how can I say it? She's not a reliable narrator.
You don't say.
Okay. You're telling me
So-
the woman who saw fucking fart black lightning cloud that shot ball lightning at a dog is maybe not the most reliable of sources?
So that's not the thing that I have a problem with.
Okay.
Let's talk about two frames of references that I think are pretty popular and pretty important that a lot of people will probably know the Belair house, if they know the Belair house, from. So the first one here is probably the Unsolved Mysteries episode, the Unsolved Mysteries podcast episode on the Belair house. They have an episode about that where they actually interview Kristen Lee.
Okay.
And then the other one is the what's it called? The BuzzFeed Unsolved episode, where they go and stay at the Belair house, and again, where they interview Kristen Lee. So, the reason why this is important is because in both situations, Lee presents herself as a pretty, like, straightforward person, a pretty, like, reasonably skeptical person, because, realistically, that's fair. She was studying to get her master's in forensic psychology, and she did have pretty straightforward and reasonable answers to what was going on with the house at that time. So it's like, okay, yeah. The thing here is that that's kind of where it stops. And so what we get in those works is we start to get an image of Lee as a very sort of... We start to get an image of Lee as like, I'm a no-nonsense working mom who, weird shit is happening in this house and I have no answer for it. So we get this image of Lee as a sort of skeptic convert.
Right. Yeah.
So she was skeptical of ghosts, or she hadn't thought about ghosts, or she had answers for ghosts, but the frequency and the severity of the hauntings is just like, I have no answer for this. I guess ghosts are real. That's the narrative that's implied.
Right. The whole, like, I'm the last person who...
Yes, I'm the
Oh,
last
no, not this
person.
again.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of like imagination that is presented of Lee when she's talking about the Belair house in those episodes, right? But here's the thing. I've read her books, and let's just say, I don't know if she's necessarily a trustworthy source.
Really? Now, what makes you say that, Joe?
She's very spiritual.
Oh, okay. I thought you...
She's very, very spiritual, and she considers herself, I believe, like a practicing Wiccan.
Oh,
Um,
fuck off.
Oh my god.
So here's the
Fuck
thing.
off.
There
No,
is
I'm
nothing
done.
wrong with being that.
Sorry, guys. I can't
but-
do the rest of this podcast. I can't-
A
So
Wiccan in
here's the thing.
Ohio. That's impressive.
So it might not exactly be Wiccan, right? But she's very
Right.
spiritual, and she
Okay.
does practice like some sort of like occultic kind of thing.
Some
And so
You're saying she's
here's
a
the
witch?
thing. I know. I'm just saying that.
Do I need to get the
You
steak
can't-
out? Do I need to get my Irish burning steak out?
Oh my god, yes, of course. I'm just saying that you can't. There's a particular kind of perspective that's being presented by media depictions of the Belair house and the woman who
Mhm.
owns it as like, I'm skeptical. I'm not a big ghost person, but in reality, she's a really fucking big ghost person.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
and
they
so
always are.
there's
She
an
did
obvious
turn it into a
methodological.
paranormal research facility.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, so
I think
here's the
you'd
thing,
have-
right? So here's the thing. When you look at the research around the Belair house, oftentimes when it says like I've converted it into a paranormal research thing, oftentimes that is framed as like I have no other option. If spooky shit is going to happen, I might as well just turn it into a place where people can research spooky shit. Like that's how it's presented as, right?
Or you could sell the house.
Yeah, sell the house. That's what I was thinking. Like
Yeah,
if I,
so-
I
She
don't
literally turned it
genuinely.
into the set of a Ghostbusters film.
It's also important to note that, remember, she moved out in 2009, which is right after the 2008 housing crisis. So she might not have been able to find people to buy the house.
Yeah, that's true. Damn, that's rough.
Yeah.
Two houses destroyed in two separate hurricanes.
Dude, she just keeps losing
That's
houses.
Paranormal.
Yeah.
First to
First a real
hurricanes, then to ghosts.
Yeah, the ghosts.
You might say it's
Ghosts.
a paranormal hurricane.
What's
Yeah.
next? To the outsourcing?
I don't know to what extent that the Unsolved Mysteries or the BuzzFeed Unsolved people have read her works, because the thing is, I have.
Well, they
I read
totally have
books.
not.
Um,
They totally
Here's the
have
thing.
not. They were briefed on it by somebody, and they were told
Yeah.
to say like they were told some of the points of the book, so that when they interviewed her, they could be like, "I read your book, and this part was really fascinating."
it was like, wow, damn, that's crazy. So here's the thing. I've read the book, right? She holds a lot of seances. Let me read to you some passages. Let me read to you passages. Okay.
Okay, before you do,
Okay.
I've got this question about the 2 interviews she did. Did she contradict herself in each of these interviews? I'm really curious about this. Did she give 2 different answers to similar situations?
No, she's actually pretty consistent on it. I'll give her that,
Yeah.
I don't think she's
was curious.
making... So, this is one of the things, right? I don't think she's making it up. I don't think she's a liar. I think she's a compromised creature.
Yeah, I'm more willing to. Again, is it Hanlon's razor?
Occam's?
No,
Occam's?
Occam's.
razor.
Well, Occam's is like the simplest reason.
Yeah, no, yeah. Hanlon's is
And-
the don't attribute to malice what can be explained by
Yeah.
stupidity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think, to be
situation-
clear, we're not necessarily saying she's stupid.
I'm saying she's stupid.
We're...
No.
Okay, well, Jaden's saying she's stupid.
Bone to pick
Okay,
here.
Lee, I'm still on your side, kind of, but I've read your books, so on page 27 of her most recent book, Paranormal Confessions, right? This
There's
book came
more
out
than
in
one?
2021. Yeah, she's written
Oh,
multiple
really?
books.
How many books has she
This
written?
book.
Damn,
Uh,
it's recent.
2 that I can find.
It's kind of a New
okay.
York Times bestseller.
So
Are
this
they?
book came out in 2021. This is the most up-to-date piece of literature on the Belair house subject, all right?
Okay.
So
Uh-huh.
this is
Obviously
the most
the best,
up-to-date piece of information, okay? So
Uh-huh.
on page 27, she describes a seance with a pair of paranormal investigators of the Belair house.
Okay.
And she writes, I immediately sensed that Krista was broken-hearted over the loss of a parental figure, and that she wore a smile in order to hide her grief. I felt that she had come to connect with a deceased loved one, and that she desperately desired confirmation that there is an afterlife. It felt to me as if Maria had lost a different kind of love, as if she had recently, and perhaps unwittingly, ended a romantic relationship. So she's talking about like psychic energy.
Yeah, that's
Like,
this
is a
the
very
movie.
She's talking about vibes.
Yeah, that's the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze.
Is she a fortune teller?
Yeah, I was
Um,
gonna say she's one of those cold readers, man. Like,
Well, she considers herself a medium.
no, fuck off.
So-
yeah, no,
so
fuck it. I'm calling
this
her
person-
stupid. Fuck off.
All right, all right, slow down for a sec. So this person said she doesn't believe in ghosts, but she handles seances.
No,
Does this sort
so
of fortune telling.
so to be clear, I don't think she's ever said that she doesn't believe in ghosts, but she does consider herself like a skeptic.
I don't know many
So
skeptics
there's a
who
sort
do this
of-
sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's
Who run
kind
this
of
kind of stuff.
weird thing, right? Another section, so another one on page 31 of Paranormal Confessions. So they start to talk with a spirit by the name, I believe it might have been Emily Davis. It's one of the main spirits that sort of haunts the Belaire house, or it might not have been. It's a different spirit, I think. But they use what is called a boo buddy. And if anybody is unfamiliar with what those are, a boo buddy is essentially a teddy bear that takes in electromagnetic readings to sort of generate a piece of audio back. And the idea here is that ghosts or spirits can manipulate them to create responses when people are asking them questions. The reason why it takes on the form of a teddy bear is to sort of make it feel a little bit more like part of the scenery, a little bit more comfortable for ghosts to interact with. It's I don't know. It feels like a racket, but whatever.
This sounds like moon magic.
Yeah. So page 31, they're talking about another communication that they have, right? With our lines of spiritual communication open, I began to walk around the table as I raised the energy and vibrations in the room. One by one, the guests introduced themselves and made their intentions known to the spirits by saying, I come with love and in peace to communicate with and learn about you. We asked, can you see us? Perfectly, said the spirits. We are guiding you. We asked, what is your name? Elizabeth, one spirit responded. Then we heard the word vampire. Greg said, touch me. I don't think you want to do that, came the response. Then a spirit said, go to the spot. Do you feel that? Very awesome. Triple gods.
Shut the fuck up.
These ghosts are epic.
Fuck off. This went from like, I was keen in the beginning because it was like D. Gray Man and then like the fucking black magic static electricity cloud throwing dogs around, and now it's just like some
jerk off spirits.
Some ghost wants to get off,
Yeah, so
Don't blame
I think
them.
the Belaire house is an example of a situation where like the entire ecology of understanding like some paranormal thing is sort of undermined by the sort of potential junk science that revolves around it. And I think part of it is because it's from the top down, it's kind of compromised. I think an example that is a little bit better, Jaden, in terms of what you might be looking for, and I think we're definitely going to cover this in a later episode, right, is the Sally house, where the Sally house is just owned by like some cop who's just like, I don't believe in ghosts, but these fucking Satanists really love renting out my house. Like that relationship is very different, right?
Yeah.
That's fair. I would totally do the same thing if it was for free cash.
Yeah, just like,
because,
look, I do not believe in ghosts, but these people want to come into my house and just do their thing. I'll do it, whatever. I don't care. He doesn't actually sound like that, but I had to contrast.
You had to make him sound
turned
like
a character.
you had to make him sound like the Louisiana sheriff from the from the James Bond movies. So like it was like what you were saying before, right? With like the whole methodology thing. This is like clearly like it's a case of like when she was actually living in the house, it's the case of the reason maybe like the imagery is more vivid is because her emotional state or whatever it was at the time, led her to like she saw these things, and because that's what it happened in the moment. That's how our memory goes. But then when you actually try to, force this thing to happen, I mean, with all this junk science bullshit, I mean, regardless of whether it's, it is fake, but regardless of whether it's maliciously, cynically, on purpose fake, or they think that's what they, got. It's like the case of like them actually trying to investigate it means that, well, their imagination when they try to actually, imagine it is limited to just people. And she claims that she's spiritual and all this stuff. And so she's going to see what she wants to see, or, that's going to be the frame of reference that comes out rather than just like, her brain is fried on red wine and sleep deprivation, so she sees some black static electricity cloud,
Because when she described it before, it sounded like the the idea of a horror movie, right? It has all these like little bits, like the white girl in the dress. Isn't that from like,
Yeah.
The Others from like 2006? Isn't that like a plot of another ghost story movie? Like the ghost told me to jump off the roof. Is that
Yeah,
wrong?
she fell asleep on the couch and then just like dreamed about the movie and was like, "Oh shit."
I mean, either way,
Oh,
it could just
shit.
be teenagers making up shit. Because like, why
Yeah.
did you get on the roof? It's like, well, yeah, because the fucking teenagers did some stupid shit, and they're just like, oh, my mother believes in ghosts. Let's talk some bullshit about ghosts. And then she won't get in trouble. It'll be fine. Let's play with ghosts.
Yeah, that's always a possibility. Yeah.
That's what I do. I'm like, yeah, some sort of strange boy, Damien. He said he was the Antichrist or something. He told me I should like, I don't know, smoke some weed. I don't know.
And so, like, the problem, right, is that once again, it creates a sort of like self-fulfilling prophecy where if you're somebody who's already more likely to believe in ghosts or more likely to believe that something paranormal is happening, when something happens, you immediately jump to, I think it's paranormal.
Yeah, I think there are
Yeah,
ghosts in my my preamp. If I'm honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this doesn't help. For instance, this doesn't help when you're effectively in what is functionally an echo chamber. Paranormal researchers are coming here and there's like, okay, we brought all these fancy tech gizmos and we're going to see if ghosts are actually here. And then, they pour over all of these files and all of this material and say, whoa, this is spooky here. And then, they hear like, I don't know, a ghost like flush the toilet or something. It's like, God damn.
Yeah.
And she's like, I knew it. That's it. And so, like, it creates a situation where there's so much junk data.
Yeah, couldn't that be an easier way to like contact the spirits than like a weird electronic bear? Like, surely there must be an easier way. Like, if throw a dog around a room, can't you get it, like, a
we do
pencil?
have EVPs, which I will be showing you guys.
Ooh, here we go.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, that's a good point, Steve. Because like, I mean, like that shit it's all fairly modern, right? So like, surely, like, if you wanted to talk, like, ghosts are analog as
Morse
hell.
code?
Yeah.
Like-
Or how about just, I don't know, talking to them,
Tap once for yes.
being like,
tap
"Oi,
two
is there
for
a
no.
ghost in here?" Because I mean,
Yeah.
like, if the ghost is corporeal enough to sit on the couch and then fuck off to the kitchen to like raid
Yeah, the
a
ghost left
fridge,
an ass print.
Yeah.
So
If
he
the
could do
ghost is-
something.
It's a
Yeah.
poltergeist then, right?
Yeah.
To some
Yeah.
degree.
Yeah, like, surely there's a better way to communicate.
Okay, I don't know if she asked this before, but has she not considered that ass print might have been hers from like the day before or something?
Yeah.
Could have been
It was
anyone's
grey.
butt print, right?
So here's the thing, right? This is like one of the difficulties or one of the challenges, which is that when it comes to like these sort of like reportings, it's very difficult to understand the sort of. They always talk about like headspace, they always talk about the headspace that they're in when they come to a conclusion, but they never sort of break down exactly how they come to the ghost conclusion, right? Because she never goes into like, okay, well, it can't have been my ass because I didn't sit there or something, right? Or, it can't have been, my husband's ass or my kid's ass or something because, they don't have asses or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
They got that Hank Hill shit.
Yeah, they're all built like Hank Hill, so it's not one of them. This is some, this is a goddamn peach in my couch. Where the hell did it come from?
Yeah, there's no
You know,
process
it's
of
like-
elimination.
Yeah, there's no point where I'm just like, okay, that is freaky. The peach ass. Like that never happens in these sort of stories. It's always
No.
just like, I'm a forensic psychologist, and I've come to the conclusion that it might have actually been supernatural. And it's just
Yeah,
like,
she
okay,
was
well, this is
studying-
not helpful.
She was studying to be a forensic scientist. Surely she would have like taken a fucking sample of the arse
I
print
think
and been
so,
like,
wouldn't you?
all right,
I've been
Jesus.
Could she find some
Yeah.
ectoplasm or something?
Yeah.
And the
I'm
thing
curious-
is, right, a lot of people are going to come, I don't know if a lot, right, because I don't even know if this podcast is even going to blow up.
No, it's going to
but,
become
like-
the most popular podcast. We're going to overtake Joe Rogan. What are you talking about?
No,
gonna
that's
destroy
true.
Joe Rogan.
You
Yeah.
will be the most popular
Yes.
Joe on Spotify.
Could you imagine?
And you won't have to even take any ivermectin to do so.
Yeah, thanks, but I will do it anyways.
You do it anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I hear it might be good for finding ghosts.
Yeah,
That's
that's
true,
true.
But, like, the thing is, right, at the end of the day, I'm not discrediting. I am not discrediting that people believe that like some paranormal shit is happening, right?
Right.
I honestly do not think that people are like. I don't think that there are that many swindlers in the paranormal community.
No, yeah.
I think that they honestly do believe what what is happening or what they're feeling. And the thing is, like, it's a very self-fulfilling kind of thing, because if something spooky happens, it feels really spooky.
Oh, yeah. Like, I don't believe in ghosts or, like, anything paranormal, really. But, like, there are times, like, in the middle of the night, especially, you go into, like, you're in that half-asleep state, and your brain is, like, sensorily vulnerable,
Yeah.
Something falls over and you get spooked. Like, it happens, like, so I don't discredit the fact that they got scared, or or that they and like you said, I'm willing to believe that they believe.
I mean, I once had a paranormal experience, quote unquote.
Oh, do tell. Ghost story time. Let's go.
All right, here we go. This is how you know it's real spooky, right? So I'm in
Okay,
my
this
house.
better not end with you being all like, yeah, and then I got a ghost with the dollar hand, a big dick, or something.
No, this is real. Yeah. This is real. This is
okay.
So I'm maybe I'm 8 years old or something. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm drawing downstairs. I think I'm the only one in the house. Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe there might be someone upstairs. I can't remember. And I remember I'm sitting there, I'm drawing some shit, and I hear the door go to the left of me. So there's like there's two doors. So there's like the front door, and then there's the door to get in from there.
Uh-huh.
And I hear the door go, and I think someone's coming in, right? So I'm drawing away, and I hear the door go. So you can hear the door going, and it's like an opening. And I look to my left, and what I see? I see nobody, but the door is opening or opened. It's like shh. And I'm like, oh fuck, it's a ghost.
Oh shit! Okay.
This ghost just walked into my house, and and that was it. That was my paranormal experience.
All right, I believe you now. I'm a believer in ghosts. Let's start a seance. Steve's convinced me.
Oh shit! This was like, who's living in Steve's house?
I heard a door go. It's opening, I think, and I wasn't paying attention, but something happened.
It's just like we're slowly moving the Ouija board around, which is a board game, by the way.
Yeah.
To be clear, to anybody out there who has any concerns as to what my thoughts are on Ouija boards, it's a board game.
Board game.
Yeah.
Then again, apparently
you
my
might
dad
as well try and
has
contact Satan with the Monopoly board.
I mean, that would be a pretty good route, I think.
Yeah.
It's probably more accurate than what these guys are doing with the bears.
Yeah.
I will say my dad actually apparently had a real paranormal experience that he's told me in the past, where apparently he met a ghost in the middle of the night, not dissimilar to her story, like on the couch, like sitting there. So he said it was he was living in London at the time. He said it was like some Indian woman or something. He was like just sitting on his couch in the middle of the night, and he was like, "What the fuck are you doing on my couch?" And he like sat with her and like asked the questions. I don't know if she responded or not. She was just like sitting on the couch and then like laid down and disappeared. And he was like,
"Are you sure she might not have just been a transient and your dad was shit-faced?"
I mean, I think he probably was shit-faced, if I'm honest.
Okay. So before we get to the EVP, which I think is really the crown jewel of this sort of episode here,
oh yeah,
I'm going to talk a little bit about the history and exactly why Lee believes that this house might be haunted. She generally gives about 5 reasons. I don't think all 5 are equally compelling. Okay. But I'll run through the reasons. So the first one, she argues, is the Ohio River's constant flow of water creates energy. Okay. I mean, the second one,
I guess, yeah, it does create like
is it hydropower?
Hydrokinetic energy, sure, but like,
yeah, but I don't know how that translates to more ghosts.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe. But I think it's one of those things where it's like they all work in tandem because she's got 4 other reasons.
Well, she mentioned vampires, right? And the thing about running water is supposed to stop vampires. So is stops vampires?
The electronic device mentions vampires. So here's the thing, right? That's the compromise thing. They heard the word vampire.
I see.
Yeah. So the second reason is Native American massacre and the bloodshed seeps into the land.
Okay.
Which, is very true. French and Native American soldiers were in constant conflict in that area. A lot of people did die there.
I mean, people die everywhere though, so it's...
Yeah, but the Ohio River's constant flow of water creates energy. It's all coming together.
That's true.
So
and no other river in the world creates energy either.
Yes, every other river in the world is completely pristine.
Completely still, never moved.
So one thing that did make me do a double take, the Belaire house was built on top of a coal mine, where a bunch of coal miners died from a fire explosion in 1893.
Is that real?
Yes.
All right, so it's starting to make a lot more sense, like where this really is like the perfect storm.
Yeah.
This is like.
So I'm just like.
This is like. So
okay, if ghosts exist, this is starting to make more sense as to why ghosts exist in that house.
Yeah, it's starting to sound like
he was grey. He was covered in coal. The grey man.
True.
I don't know. So she so she mentions he had a farmer's hat and a trapper's hat. So apparently he's got multiple different hats.
More than one hat. Okay. Well, he's a coal miner, so maybe he has multiple hats.
This is turning into like Calvin from Calvin and Hobbes making a story, because Calvin's stories was always like, it's like the T-Rex flying the fighter jet is going to crash into the train that's carrying a 500 megaton nuclear bomb, and it's like a 6-year-old putting in all of the right elements.
That sounds crazy. It's been a great Ghostbusters film, all the miners come back alive and they try and take over. It'd be crazy.
All right. So the fourth reason, and this one doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever. So the fourth reason is that the Belaire house is situated under a very specific energy constellation. It's an astrology thing.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
The fifth reason is that the Belaire house was originally owned by Jacob Hetherington, who owned the coal mine. And after he died and passed away, it was undertaken by his son Alex, who was ultimately deemed unfit to maintain the business. And so that passed on to Alex's daughter, Lyde. Lyde died in the dining room of the Belaire house. And her brother Edwin...
Was she killed by a miner?
No, she just died. But Edwin was so deeply affected by Lyde's death that he started to hire a bunch of mediums and mystics and psychics to conduct seances at the Belaire house to try and call her back. So the whole ritual stuff is secondary to the fact that somebody actually did die in the house.
Yeah. That's like, that makes more sense. You got a perfect recipe for like a haunted house kind of scenario.
Yeah, it's a little bit too good to be true.
Yeah, the thing is though, it's like for me, it's like that. Like I would be unnerved learning about so many people having died in the house, around the house, or whatever. Not because I think there's ghosts there, but because I'd be like, oh shit, I'm gonna fucking die in this house too.
The reality is coming back.
I'd be worried about the property value. I'd be worried about pulling up the carpet and finding like old hardwood and there's like a fucking body shaped like blood stain there. I'm like, god damn it.
So those are the watchmojo.com top 5 reasons.
Yeah, top 5 reasons why the Belaire.
Chilling reasons why. If you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
So those are her reasons, right, as to why the Belaire house. And the thing is, the Belaire house does have some pretty frequent hauntings. So one haunting, for instance, is by a ghost that they deem to be the name of Emily Davis. Apparently, there are 2 ghosts that are named Emily Davis. One of them apparently is not a little girl. The other one may be a little girl who's shape-shifting from other thing. It's very convoluted.
Did these people ever live in this house? Like, I thought we already had a descriptive longevity list of people who lived here.
So Emily Davis never lived in the house, but apparently there was an Emily Davis in Ohio history who drowned in the Ohio River. I don't know how that leads to her going to the house.
Well, the energies, she's carried from the
river. Maybe
coal miners
the ancient Native American.
Well, the coal miners went to heaven.
Site,
as we understand, real proletariats go to heaven, and leftist YouTubers go to hell.
Yeah, my bad. But what about this little girl? Was she just like a little shithead then? Is this why she's stuck in like purgatory?
Was that the little girl in the dress?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Maybe.
I have no idea. So
I mean, she's telling people to jump off the roof, so maybe she is a little shit. Maybe she deserves to be.
Yeah, maybe that's why she didn't get into heaven, is because she's
fucking shit.
God just didn't like her very much. Yeah. So let's hear these EVPs.
So let's talk about EVPs, because as a site, as a sort of like paranormal research site, a lot of material comes out of the Belaire house. And one of the big things in sort of ghost hunting is EVPs. And EVPs are pretty straightforward. It essentially just means like electronic voice phenomenon. And it refers to the practice of, oftentimes you have a set series of questions that you ask. And the reason why is that's supposed to create a quote unquote control. So what you do is you would like read them off in a particular location, see if it gets a response. Obviously, if it's not haunted, it's not going to get a response. And then you go to the haunted place and then you read it off again and then see if it gets a response again. And, you know, if there is a response, then who knows? It may be haunted, etc. So on and so forth. These EVPs are from the generous permission of Full Moon Paranormal. Thank you very much to Full Moon Paranormal. I will put a link in the video description. They were very kind to let me use their EVPs after I reached out to them. I know you guys saw the channel. Please, for the love of God, understand that we are not shitting on what you do. Anyhow, so yeah, let's get to the EVPs. All right, so EVPs are kind of a situation where you have to trust that like what they're doing or what they capture is something they've already accounted for. So oftentimes we can't just be all like, bro, have you not considered that like maybe it's just some guy farting? It's just like, no, there's nobody else there farting, you know, like that kind of thing, right? So they often have to.
Is that a picture of the house?
Yes.
Oh, it's a nice looking house.
It's
a nice
house.
Yeah. So this first EVP is, as you can see, called the Belaire House, Emily's Room, Get Out.
Do you like us being here?
Ooh, spooky.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounded like, was that a no?
Well, it sounds a little bit like a Get Out, you know?
Okay.
I thought I heard no, which would...
Heard someone sneeze at the end.
So this is one of the situations, right, where it's just like, we have to assume that Full Moon Paranormal, the guys who did it, are probably just like, okay, nobody actually sneezed.
No one sneezed,
yeah.
Right, yeah.
So the question is, like, what is the noise now, you know? So assuming we've accounted for all of, like, the human actors that are there, what noise generated that?
I don't really know how like you get the EVP working in the first place. You got some sort of like weird radio thing in your hand or whatever. Like,
no, you just have an audio recorder.
So you have an audio recorder. So
these are just normal audio
waves?
recorders. Yeah, no. So these are not just radio waves. These are literally just like audio recorders where they just like walk around or stand around and just like hold an audio recorder.
I guess I got to humor me for a second, but why specifically did these things pick up something that you can't hear normally?
Yeah,
what is the logic behind it finding stuff that like, you know, you wouldn't catch through just, I don't know, a normal microphone or in the air or whatever?
So the idea here is that like it's possible that people did hear it, but they just weren't paying enough attention, you know? Because sometimes it can be like very quiet. Oftentimes these sounds will occur when they're doing something else. So, you know, like oftentimes when they're setting up equipment or when they're like, I don't know, walking up a stairs, going someplace or something, because they're always recording. So they're constantly always recording. So you might not have seen or heard it in the exact moment upon which that thing happened, but when you sort of play it back, right, you know, it's like, oh, hold up, what is that? That's the idea.
So yeah, I guess that makes sense because like in daily life, there you just hear so many noises that your brain kind of filters them out, right? But then that also you can apply that same logic though to, you know, the recordings. It's like, well, things create noise, you know, like if you've ever just like things just sometimes like I call it the inertia noise, you know, where a piece of furniture just makes a creak
Yes.
Even though no real force is being applied to it. So
yeah, and the thing is that houses breathe, especially old houses.
Yeah.
Like this thing was built in the 1800s. Like
yeah.
they breathe. Yeah. So another one from the same fellas. Okay. So this one is after the Get Out. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So did you hear it?
Someone say camera.
Yeah. So the comment for this one is that the audio recording picks up camera before he pumps into the tripod.
I didn't hear camera.
Yeah.
But
No, I heard camera, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just that the camera sounds like it was just a normal person this time.
Yeah, it sounds like someone just
yeah, so this is like... Yeah, so this is one of those things where it's like... it's really funny because like I know BuzzFeed Unsolved does a lot of like EVP stuff, and it's always so garbage. It's always just like... It's just like, oh my god, did they say like... Did they say fruity... Yeah, did they say fruity pebbles? Does the ghost eat fruity pebbles? But no, like this is what we would consider sort of like higher level EVP, where it's just like I said we, as if I'm part of the ghost hunting community.
Us as a paranormal podcast would consider it.
This is like a sort of like a higher level EVP because it's so clear and it's so difficult to exactly pin it down as to like. The only reason, right? The only answer that I would be able to come to would be like, oh, maybe somebody actually did just say like camera, like one of the guys like there said camera.
That would be my assumption.
But that would be one of those things that you would automatically be like, hey, did anybody actually say camera? You know?
How old are these ghosts though? How old are they recognizing modern cameras? As a camera from their time, which would look very different.
Well, I don't know, man. Maybe they're just like...
It's also, it's like, you know...
A Sony A.
Holy shit.
Wow. I heard it is good low light performance.
What kind of lenses you got for that baby?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Is that a smartphone?
Well, the other thing, right, is it's like, it would be after the fact that they would check, right?
Yeah.
Like, and they would check, or they would listen back, and after the fact that they say, did anybody say camera?
Yeah.
Human memory isn't that great, so like people would be like, "Oh, I didn't say camera. And someone like especially when you're focusing on a topic, like I talk to myself out loud all the time. I can't remember everything I say, you know.
Yeah, it could have been a subconscious saying of it.
Yeah. It sort of like falls again back into that situation where it's just like they are probably not malicious, but that does not mean that they are not fallible.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and you saying about how like the BuzzFeed one's a dog shit. Like there is that part of like paranormal stuff where it's like you know, people give a bit more credence. I don't know credence, but like if something is like really scuffed, it's like easier. You know, the uncanny valley doesn't kick in. You know. Like that's why like you know like all those like you know like cryptid sighting videos are always like shot or made to look like it's shot on like a crappy, you know, 2000s camcorder with like terrible grain and stuff because like
it's a better aesthetic though, isn't it?
It's a better aesthetic, yeah, but it's like it's also like, you know, like if you film something on like a HD smartphone camera and you've got this goober like Cinema 4D After Effects monster running around, you know, it's like it's gonna look like people are gonna be like that looks like shit versus if it's in the distance on a crappy, you know, blurry, pixelated thing, people are going to be more willing to like the imperfections.
Yeah, I think there's more of a reality to it, I guess you could say.
Yeah. And so maybe that's like with this one, right? Like your brain just goes, that's just a person saying camera, right? Because it just sounds too clear, you know? So there could be some of that going on as well.
So you listen to the audio here. The background audio is actually pretty like crisp. It's pretty crisp. So there's room tone, but there's not a lot of like the sort of foggier room tone that you would hear with like a high gain. So I wonder if there might have been like a low pass filter that's applied to sort of minimize the room tone, but as a result, it kind of distorts what might have been the original sound that the camera was heard on. And then that might have like warped it just enough to make it sound like somebody whispering camera.
It is a funny thing recording stuff.
Yeah. And so last but not least,
Another one.
So
Child
last
crying.
one.
Okay.
Child. This one is upstairs first bedroom. Child crying.
I might have just been crying, to be fair.
Could just been like, yeah. Okay, I heard it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you guys. Yeah. So I think it might be either one of two things. It could just literally be like the house breathing, because it does sound a little bit like a sort of like a prolonged creak. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like a prolonged creak, which with an old house happens all the time. Like as wood contracts and expands, like it will slowly create noise, right? The second one might literally just be air escaping.
It's like air escaping from the folds of his fat.
Yeah.
Like in Futurama.
Woo! So like that's the thing, right? That's like a joke, but that's like an actual thing, right? You know?
I have a third suggestion, which comes from I guess the farmyard landscape of where I live. It sounds like it could be a creature just like outside. And to me that sounds a bit like wild farmland creatures
squatting in the
maybe
because sheep make noise all night. Like I'm not even joking, like they bleat all night.
I don't know if there might be sheep around though.
I mean any kind of creature, just like any kind of thing.
The interesting thing of listening to that though, that the fact that the audio is so clean is it does bring up media has shaped, I shouldn't say warped, but it shaped people's perceptions on like what the paranormal and the supernatural sounds like, right? So normally like ghosts have an echoey voice and, this, that, and the other. And so there's a part of it where like, on this recording, like something comes up sounding that clean, and possibly because of that, your brain just goes, oh no, that just sounds like a dude, But like, if ghosts were real, they probably would just sound like dudes,
I guess that would make sense.
Yeah. They're not gonna have like a reverb pedal, attached to their voice as they walk around, At
least not the poor ones, at least.
No. Yeah, maybe the ones who are like, the ones who want to become like a YouTuber and they've got rich parents and then they die because they like, I don't know, they did the Bird Box challenge while like playing friggin' the,
Yeah, they did like a 3MA challenge. 3M challenge, and it went poorly.
Yeah, they did the cinnamon challenge, but they actually swallowed it and blocked fucking passage to that. Yeah. Maybe they would have a reverb pedal, but
I mean,
that's a really good point, because like honestly, that's really what it would sound like if you were a ghost and you were saying or communicating or something. Like it wouldn't be all like some sort of weird misty like it probably just would just sound like somebody there.
Yeah, it'd just be like, how's it
very
going?
faint.
Yeah,
being dead sucks,
because they don't have vocal cords, so I guess it'd have to be like some sort of whisper in the air.
Yeah.
Those are the EVPs. So what do you guys think about those EVPs?
Well, first, thank you to Full Moon Paranormal.
Yes. Thank you very much to Full Moon Paranormal for letting us use
it. I think they are well, I don't think they're real. But I think that they're not like goober level. They don't feel maliciously put together, They don't feel like a fraudster or a huckster or anything like that.
Sounds like good audio. That's what I'm going to say. Like it's really clear audio.
I'm like, well, what you got? Is that a H6n? Because what are you using? Sounds.
I was expecting it to sound like a trash can.
Yeah,
like a trash can with like an echo effect added to it.
Damn, dog, you recording ghosts on this?
Yeah. Fuck, I need that. Grant that to Steve so he can record the next episode of the podcast.
Oh yeah, please. I need that ghost recording equipment.
Yeah. There is an element of another thing I was thinking of too with and not necessarily to Full Moon Paranormal, but like specifically, but with the whole, like you were saying, like with the whole like when like doing the paranormal investigation and stuff like that, and wanting to believe stuff. I think there is an element of like almost like confirmation bias and almost like maybe like a buyer's remorse kind of thing. Because like you think if you buy all this fancy equipment and you set up this thing to go do paranormal investigation and you get there and you don't find anything, you're going to be disappointed because you spent all this time and money, right? And so like I think there's this element of like you're hyper aware for anything that could be a sign of the paranormal,
Yeah. And I think to be clear, I think to make a distinction that in case people might not realize, Jaden is not saying that people buy the stuff and then consciously think, oh, I'm just going to say that I hear something. It just means that they're more likely to probably hear something because they're already in a sort of mindset to be looking for it.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
They've done experiments on this before, if I remember right, where they've
it's
had two control groups.
Yeah, it's called pareidolia. Yeah.
You tell one of them that it's like a haunted house experiment. The other one, you tell them like doing maintenance or something, and you ask them both the same questions, and they give you very radically different answers of how like, spooky, paranormal they thought the environment was.
And the thing is, like, it's not a conscious process. It's not a conscious process that happens. It's just a situation of just like, if you look, it's exactly like the Bloody Mary kind of thing. If you, because like the whole thing with Bloody Mary is you go into the bathroom, you turn off the lights, you say her name 3 times, you're going to see something in the mirror because you've set yourself up in the mindset to look for something. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean you're going to see something in the mirror for sure because it's a mirror.
Yeah.
Unless it's just a really scuffed mirror.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, don't say that. Neil deGrasse Tyson will come in and make the same tweet about kissing. If you kiss a mirror, you're kissing yourself on the lips that he makes every 6 months.
I think all his tweets are recycled. I think he's got like them all on like a repeating schedule.
Yeah.
So anyway, I believe it.
So I guess here's the question, right? So we got the EVP, which I personally think is really interesting. So we got the EVPs. We also, however, have everything else.
Yeah.
So
well, it's funny.
Do you guys think it's haunted?
No, but but it is. I did give more credence to the Full Moon Paranormal with like the EVPs. And I think it's simply just the way they present it. I respect more than some wino who admittedly got a very rough deal, but more so than somebody who published their ghost starring Patrick Swayze fan fiction and tried to publish it and present it as a paranormal investigation book.
How did they get in the Blair house? Did they pay to go in, or is it just they just went in? And like, how's it work?
Well, you just rent it. It's like an Airbnb, right?
Okay. Did they stay in it? Did they sleep? Huh?
Yeah, you can stay in the house. Yeah,
you just like sleep there.
Like there are people who will like stay like a week in the house. I believe. Yeah.
Is it cheap?
Yeah.
Might be a good place to stay in Ohio.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just like there are no hotels around. We were in the middle of Belaire. Might as well just stay in the haunted house. Whatever. It's the cheapest place around.
Yeah, I mean, if it was the cheapest place, I'd totally take it. Like hell yeah. It looks like a nice place to like. I mean, it might be a bit disheveled now, but like the river's probably nice. The land around it, it's probably like a good little forest or something.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's real.
Yeah, our next Kickstarter will be give us the money to rent out the house for the weekend.
Of course,
we call it the weekend at Belaire House instead of Bernie's. Was it?
So once again, if you like this podcast and you coming in on YouTube, please like and subscribe. But if you're coming in from like any of the podcatchers, please leave a review or a rating. Yeah. I think those things are actually go ahead if you want to. I mean, like, I think though, like, podcatchers really, really highly value reviews and ratings. Like, like it's very tangible how much they bump you up in terms of like whether you get recommended if you get like a rating or review left. So please do if you can. Again, it doesn't have to be positive,
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, and if you didn't like this video, you still like, comment, subscribe, so that we can blow up, and then we get on the cringe paranormal subreddit.
Yes,
Yeah, that would be great.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
at least
Please just let us get blasted.
You know? Yeah, yeah.
Let us get
don't
blasted. Yeah.
Oh,
we
hell
don't
yeah.
care. Just it all helps.
I was going to say a second ago, I thought I heard an EVP myself. I heard a small little noise. It sounded like someone was trying to contact me. It was just like a small little noise, but it, that could have just been Discord.
Oh, I thought you were just gonna say, and then I saw ball lightning come out of my USB cable.
Yeah.
It was like,
gonna
Steve,
say,
you better watch out.
well,
I think your wire is short circuiting.
Astute listeners might, if they listen here, they might be able to hear what sounds like a dog barking throughout this and the previous podcast. So that could be something.
I think I heard a cat earlier on, so that might be something.
Yeah.
That might be a cat ghost or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think, if you listen to my audio very closely, you might notice that it's been haunted by the ghost of a water heater.
My audio was already haunted by just being scuffed. So
yeah. Well, I was just thinking, man, I could have totally, because Steve's audio was scuffed, I could have just at least turned the fan on and just blamed it on him.
Yeah, it'd be my fault. My ghost audio.
Next episode, we are going to be leaving the United States. We are going to be going to Australia.
Oh, shit, that's where I live.
Yeah. And we're going to be talking about a little bit of a strange one. We're going to get a special guest in as we talk about the Yowie.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, that's what I'm talking about.